Hey guys, welcome back to the show. This is Full Power Pillock, and today we're going to be looking at 4 very unusual types of flying machines that you'll find in Minecraft Bedrock. So the very first one is probably the most unusual. So what this is basically the slowest flying machine that you'll probably ever find in Minecraft. It travels exactly 1 block per day, which is actually quite useful when you think about it, because it means that you can basically make a clock or a calendar or something like that using a flying machine. So behind me here, what I've got is a bit of a control panel, and as you'll probably notice that as I start to change the times, you'll start to see the machine come alive, and eventually it will start to move. Okay, it's definitely not the quickest machine. It's definitely a bit of a slow one, but think of what you could use this for. I mean, you could basically use it for anything along the lines of some sort of calendar, clock, that sort of thing. It is quite strange, I will admit, but yeah, it's quite fun. It is quite fun. I think my computer's going to blow up very quickly, mainly because I'm in RTX and I'm playing quite a lot with the lighting. But it's definitely an interesting one. It does show how slow you can make a flying machine. This thing is unimaginably slow. There we go. So quite an unusual one, but I thought it's quite fun, and it's one that I built a very, very long time ago. But yeah, it's just strange. So the next one that we have is basically a redstone block flying machine. Now, in Java version, these are pretty much the same as your observer flying machines. However, in Bedrock, these are significantly much more powerful. So what I'm going to do is, just so I can control how far this actually goes, I'm just going to make a line of obsidian, because these things are basically unstoppable. So as soon as I get rid of this block here, it's gonna fly off. And here we go. So because of the way that Bedrock mechanics actually works, it means that we get flying machines like this that will come up to any sort of obstacle and they'll stop. But as soon as you remove the obstacle, they'll start flying again. So things like this become very, very useful for, say for instance, mega flying bases or something like that. It is definitely an interesting flying machine, but it can be a bit of a problem if you don't have something in the way, because it can absolutely wreck anything that's in its path. So definitely a bit of a strange one. I might even flick it over to the non-RTX version just so you guys can get a bit of an idea as to how this sort of works. So probably not the easiest to sort of see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually represent this with emerald and gold. So gold obviously representing honey and emerald representing the slime blocks. So how this is actually working is that we have some slime blocks kind of like this, and then one like that. Then we have our piston, which is just a regular sort of piston, nothing too crazy or anything like that, which is basically here. And then we'll have another slime block on top. Then we'll just have your run-of-the-mill basic redstone block right here. Then we can do the same sort of thing with the honey blocks so that you get something a little bit like this. And I'll just chuck in that piston. So you get the idea. All that you have it is basically going around continuously the same sort of way. The only thing that you got to remember is one of them, which is this one for the flying machine. You need to have one of them where the piston's actually 1 block forward, so it would actually be here. So it starts off the whole machine anytime that that block is basically able to move. As you can see on this machine, this is the one that's forward, and all the rest of them are perfectly in line with those weird sort of L shapes that we do get, and the blocks underneath. So yeah, definitely a bit of an interesting one, and I'll fly it off one more time just so you guys can sort of see how this all works. And I'll just try and control it so it doesn't go crazy on me. And off it goes. So yeah, it's definitely unstoppable. The second that you remove that obsidian block, it's completely and utterly off. So that's that's a bit of a powerful sort of flying machine. It's fairly decent. I do love this one a lot. So the next one that we have on the line here is a two-way flying machine in Bedrock version that is possible and has been possible for some time. However, because of some issues with observers updating, generally this one would break quite a lot. So that's why you generally didn't find any sort of tutorials for this for my channel at least. So how this works is it's actually running multiple pistons at the same time. So if I activate it just here, you're going to see that how it's sort of working is that these observers get moved separately to the machine and also with the machine. So it definitely does create an interesting scenario about how this is all sort of running. But as you can see, it's quite a complicated one. It's you know, able to work without any sort of arrows or anything else. But yeah, it is sort of a bit expensive, and the other issue is that it does cause quite a bit of lag. So I wouldn't expect for anyone to make this too big, namely because it would be fairly problematic fairly quickly. And the last one that we have here is actually quite new. So this one that we have here is actually a snowball variant of my arrow flying machine. Now, this one took me quite a few months to actually figure out how this would actually work. And the only way I could get it to work is by creating a sort of artificial block dropping function into Bedrock. Yeah, I kid you not, I had to actually spend ages and ages working out the science to this, only to realize I had to just add a single piston and an observer. But, you know, that's what flying machines are all about. And here it is. So what we can do is if I get something like a snowball, sorry. And as you can see, in here is snowballs, in here is snowballs. And all I have to do is throw it at the back one and it will all fly off. Now this one's actually quite useful more than just flying, because this one's more of your farming type flying machine. So for instance, if I was to place some honey blocks, which are quite useful for say kelp and bamboo farms, that sort of thing, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 outwards. So quite a decent line, and then I can fire it off obviously, and off it goes. So yeah, quite useful. If you have a look at the dynamics that we actually have going on here, I'll get rid of this line so you can see it a little bit more easy. It does have a little bit of a gap where nothing's really making too much sense in Bedrock. The reason why this is actually even able to work is that the sticky pistons down here would normally actually recoil and pull the machine backwards. However, because we have these pistons up here, it basically stops it from being pulled back. So it's an artificial block dropping function that exists in Bedrock that took me very, very, very long to figure out how to do this. And as you can see, generally the machine when it stops will be in half, because it does have a block dropping function, but yeah, it was definitely not an easy one to create. So I hope you guys had a bit of fun with this. There's definitely some interesting flying machines. Whoever says that Bedrock doesn't do flying machines, you know, obviously we've got quite a few. We may not have the easiest ones, but we do have some fairly useful ones. So let me know what you guys think and drop your comments in the description down below. But until the next one, guys, I'll catch you later. See ya. Wait. I can do this now. See ya. Haha. Yes, I can now wave. This is brilliant. Now I just need full control in the game of my body. I wonder if that's possible.